We are here today because one of the top 3 reasons which kind of pain points managers want to solve with OKRs is always about alignment. And in our OKR coachings, we often get the questions on how this is really working, how this can work, because we want to make sure that everyone is working towards the same goal, ideally at the same time. And we don't want to tell people what to do. So how the heck can it work? And let's first set the scene a bit. So generally we differentiate between the horizontal and the vertical alignment. And the horizontal alignment part is the one about dependencies to other departments and teams. And this alignment direction is very often forgotten because we tend to think in silos. Generally, that's the situation. And the vertical alignment part is the one about contributions towards the same goals. And we will be playing a bit of ping pong now with some of the typical questions from our clients. And I have the first one for you, Magdalena, which is how do you actually kick off things around vertical alignment? So the one about contributions so that everyone is working towards the same goals.
So I will tell you something perhaps surprising, which is that people organically align their work when they understand what is important. Everyone wants to shine, everyone wants to have an impact within their role. You don't need to convince them of that. The first step to kick off the alignment is making sure that the teams are clear on the theme for the coming quarter. What is our focus on this coming quarter? What are we solving for? And this can be done very easily 2 weeks before the quarter starts, sending an email with like the top challenges or the top focus for the coming quarter. And that's how you kick off the alignment.
You said when you know what's important, which is for me a very good, thorough understanding of vision, mission, and strategy. That's very often a weak point. And I like to use the analogy to give your employees a puzzle to set together. You pay them based on time. And what if you simply forget to give them the picture, how the puzzle should look like? And that's something we definitely should avoid.
Right. Once you tell them what the picture is, you give them the freedom to look for the pieces, try different things and problem solve, but they need to be clear on what picture they're building.
But how can this work in a 5 or 10,000 employee company? Doesn't it take way too much time?
This is one of the main questions we get from our clients. And here's the trick, is that once the theme for the quarter is clear, everyone at every level drafts their OKRs at the same time. You don't go by levels. Everyone writes it at the same time because every employee has unique visibility on what is most important. And by writing them at the same time, you gather everyone's ideas and you move faster. Once the first draft is done, it is the manager's job to go ahead and look at the report's OKRs and pick the best ideas, adjust his or her own set of OKRs, and coordinate with other teams, get feedback from upper management, depending on how many layers you have. But here becomes a question of prioritizing the best ideas that have come up. And this is where I think that this is where the horizontal alignment kicks off. So Hannes, how does horizontal alignment work on a 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 employee company?
Yeah, that's a tricky one because as a fact, the larger the company gets, the more cross-functional dependencies we have. And probably there are countless cross-functional dependencies in a 5,000 employee company. But it's actually not about coordinating everything. It's about the big chunks. And it's about the chance that with OKRs, you're able to approach all this with in a kind of systematic way. Like how many times does it happen that team A works off their butt to push a certain project towards a point where team B needs to deliver an important piece to proceed as planned, and then team B tells them that currently they have completely other priorities and this piece will simply not be delivered before next quarter. And by the way, we didn't even heard about that you need this from us. And this is where horizontal alignment wasn't working or didn't exist. And every situation like this we're able to avoid with OKRs is actually a big win for efficiency and motivation in the end. And this is also where OKR software tools can help big time, especially when it's about flagging those cross-functional dependencies during the definition phase for your next OKR quarter. And I specifically say flagging because to pre-discuss or to solve those dependency requests, you probably need a more kind of in-depth conversation. So people, teams have to connect, talk to each other through whatever channel in the end. But this is where software definitely can help. What's your advice on using software for alignment?
So I think software can help visualize what efforts are going behind top goals, because every individual and team, usually they're able to link up their OKRs to the top OKRs. So software can help you with that visualization. But I think that I often see clients falling into the trap of wanting to connect everything, and that is crazy. OKRs are not connected on a nice bow, right? What you want to make sure is that top priorities have the right amount of effort behind them, and then you give freedom to the rest of the organization to set their OKRs. Some OKRs might make sense at an individual level only. Some OKRs might make sense at a team level because they improve how that team works and it doesn't directly tie up. And it's a conversation between the employee and their manager on priorities. What I see often, Hannes, is that there is way more discussion of this point of like, how do I tie everything together? You don't. There's more discussion at this point than the cross-functional alignment that is so important, right?
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Is it that vertical alignment is more important than cross-functional?
I don't think so. I think vertical alignment is simply gets more space out there if you think about all the books out there, and also because it's the easiest argument for CEOs, right? It totally makes sense to try to gather all contributions towards the strategic path. But what really makes a difference is the combination of both, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the OKR process and the OKR cadence, which is usually a quarterly cadence, really comes in to help here because it gives teams a structure to remind them to stop and think. Right? You need to stop and think about what is the focus for the coming quarter, communicating that clearly, and having that conversation on what dependencies do we have. If you're having that conversation, you're already on top of the game. So I think we're back to where we started, Hannes, which is focus and communication drives alignment.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hope, or we hope that this helps you to understand the main principles behind alignment, what it's all about. And if you get one thing out is that you definitely need both, or you should take advantage of both.